All right, so here we have a four with Will, John, Dan, and David, and Joe on the coxswain seat. So we're gonna look it up normal speed. All right. Again, fours are not easy. Fours are quite challenging. So it's okay if it doesn't look as clean as it should. It's okay if it looks a little bit wobbly. It was the first time doing this combination, and it takes time to row fours well. So let's take a look at here on this one. Just by looking at this, I don't know if you can see here, there's some stuff going on. So the first stuff that we see a little bit is that in this point here, I'm already starting to see John's blade. Like I can see the white blade. So I can start seeing John kind of like exiting a little bit. So a little bit of washout. I can also see a little bit of David's, and then I can see Dan on the other side, like kind of going a little bit deep. So then that's what we talked about yesterday about the rainbow. So there's a little bit of a rainbow going on, which is causing us going a little bit deep. So now I can see like Will is starting to get out again a little bit. You can see the washout here a little bit better from John, and then at the release, we can see that David, I don't know if you can take a look at here, David, your blade's starting to fade into the water. A little bit John too. Remember the drill that we did, really important on a four that can cause a little bit of set issues as well. So we want to make sure that we exit that blade clean. Because on the four, that's gonna be it's gonna have quite the impact. Let's take a look at the starboards here. Well, if I'm super picky too, I can see the feathering into the water. Again, probably it's this stroke, like oh shit, like it's this stroke everybody's feathering into the water. A little bit of the end too. So we wanna like be more consistent with that. Four of us, I think that doing a little bit more of the light feather on the forts might be good. Let's take a look at another stroke. Not too bad on this one. But then here you can see a little bit of different angles, well, different like exit blades. So, well, I don't know if you can see this one. This one, that was you that was washing out a little bit, and actually ports were together. So again, it like changes a little bit. So like sometimes there's ports washing out, sometimes it's starboards washing out. But the tendency that we see here is that starboards go a little bit deep, and then at the release there's a little bit of washout from you guys keep taking turns, so sometimes it's David, sometimes it's John, sometimes it's Will, and then we'll see if Dan goes deep or like washes out or not. In this one, I can see a little bit of still like feathering into the water, like John, I don't know if you can see here that your blade is kind of close to the water, so we don't quite tap down and then feather. We kind of like we feather as we tap down. Same here. That was a little better. Let's take a look at the next one. We'll talk about the catches and we'll catch about all the stuff. Right now I'm just taking a look at sea wheel here. There's a little bit of washout. I don't know if you can see Will here a little bit of the leaning on the starboard side. Oops, I hate when this happens. A little bit of the leaning on the starboard side here. And because you're the stroke, I can see that you're leaning a little bit. And not too bad, but something to keep an eye on. From this angle, we can also see a little bit of like leaning back a little bit too much. So a little bit more sit up from that lower body. Important to keep that in mind. Okay, so now let's talk about the hands away. And the body over. Let me take a look at something real quick too. So yeah, see here, Danny looks like you're feathering more into the water. And then the first thing that happens here is that the boat falls to port. This can be caused because of the feathering into the water from everyone, and like the exiting the blade early from wheel. That's causing like starboards to keep pushing into the water, so that means that the boat is going to fall to port because the pressure comes from port. Therefore, it's just gonna like the boat is just gonna like fall into starboard. So finishes are important. Again, probably there's more going on that we'll find out, but that's right now my theory. My hypothesis that probably why the boat was falling to starboard. It's because like, you know, we have someone getting out early, and then we have some like washing out from like different folks. And the washing out from port can also like, you know, mean like now it's going to be a little bit more stable, a little bit. See, so again, as I was said, I think that we were playing with this combination. We were trying to figure out what to do. So something to keep an eye on. Again, like when the set falls to one side, it can be for so many reasons. So it's good to like explore other reasons, so we can like be more aware of like those little changes that we have to do to avoid this stuff. Again, feathering into the water, getting out early, washing out, not tapping down enough. All these things are like feathering into the water. I mentioned it like already, but I want to keep an eye on that. Okay, let's go to the catch. I can see John's blade a little bit far from the water. We talked about it after practice, how like you like to like get the tap down low. Just enough tap down to get the blade into the water. Pretty good job here in like scoring up early starboards. And David, good job. John, you were a little late there, but still he looks like you're not fully squared. Well, that probably was a bad one. Like, let's choose another frame. Like, I feel bad now. So again, yeah, like the blade a little bit high of the water here for John. This one was a little better, but then starboards were not we're not scoring up early. And now my thing got lost. Oh my goodness. Let's try again. On this one. One more thing, Will, that now I'm looking at it is like probably like this like early release and needs a little bit of a washout. It's because like we're still missing a little bit of connection from the legs. The thing that we were talking, that we don't want the legs to go too fast, down on the draft too quick. So we want to probably get a little bit more hang, a little bit more connection. So as we were here, this one, now you all not scoring up early. The other ones scoring up early are like Dan and John. All right. Here going a little bit deep. Okay, let's try again. John is looking to the side a little bit. Okay, let's try again. Going on the square. I can see that trying there, but a little bit of like set problems. David blade falling to the water. So once we get here, right here, the blade should be into the water. The blade is on the square for some folks, but still not into the water. The blade is not even squared for some folks neither. So we need, once we get this position, we need to put the blade into the water here. If the blades were all even on the square, it would be like, oh, that's a cool picture. But still, like we spent so much time at the catch just waiting for something to happen. Well, as soon as you get there, you need to put the blade into the water. This position right here. Right here. The other thing that we talked a lot about is that body position. Again, we kind of want like the bodies to kind of like take sides as we rotate, for sure. Like we want to kind of like split our heads a little bit. But my concern here is that, John, we talked about it later, and I actually found a PDF from a British Ford. I think that is going to be helpful, hopefully. But my concern here is I can see David, I can see Will and Dan, and I see John, but I don't see David. So let's go back at the beginning where there was like that angle on the bodies. Actually, what I'm seeing is David on starboard a little bit here, and then I see him going to port a little bit. But David, rather than going towards like starboard, let's see if John does that too, towards starboard and then port, think about staying even in the center and then going to port, because that's the side that we're rowing, so we want to rotate to that side. I understand that the rotation and like the splitting the heads is a little confusing, so I'm going to try to do a little bit more research and try to find the best words to explain it to you all. So see, David, here that it looks like you're kind of like leaning towards starboard here, and then you go towards port. So we need to think a little bit more about trading. And then here, John is a good example that might be a little too much leaning towards starboard. So the idea, the concept of like picking your head is there, but I think that a little more towards the center. So a little less leaning and more rotation might be what we're looking for there. And then here, we push with the legs. And again, Will, do you see that here? Like the legs are almost down, and then we kind of like rely too much on our upper body. This is something, don't be in a rush to bring your legs down, okay? Oops. Well, we'll take from here. What else do we see here? Again, I'm trying to like keep it short, so this is the things that I see the first, like one of the first things. Then Will, I'm not picking on you, my friend. It's just you're on stroke seat, and I can see like what's going on. But let's see if I can find a spot where I can see your knee kind of wiggling a little bit. Yeah, see here, kind of like it goes a little bit towards the left here, and then it goes back to the center. So think about keeping it more towards the center. And then we talked about the rainbow a little bit. I also want to like emphasize how like, I think that was actually a pretty decent stroke, but I think that keeping it a little bit closer to the water. Let's talk about that a little bit now. See here how high it is. I think that here should be a little closer to the water. So think about like here. See how Will is like the blade is already pretty close to the water, and your blade is really far, which is causing a little bit of like, that was a little bit of like backsplash. It's fine, Will, don't worry. But see here, the answer is still pretty good, but imagine if we kept the blade a little bit closer to the water. That would be a little bit more gentle. It would be a little bit more progressively going towards the catch, rather than like going up, and then last minute, because, oh shit, the catch is here, I have to put the blade into the water. See? Like, this is like a good call. Right here. So to be more aware of it, like what happens if we keep our blade too high to the water, what happens is that we're sending a little bit of weight towards port, meaning that the port side here is falling and they cannot get the blade onto the square. Which, I still like, I still value trying you guys on the square, but I understand that it touches the water. And again, here, David, we see it again, this flip catch here. Oops. Right here. Ugh, let's find another boat. See, like here, kind of waiting, and John is already in the square, and then it goes in kind of like not locked all the way in. It goes like, it looks like since it didn't square up early, it looks like it's kind of going diagonally a little bit, and it's going in a little bit clumsy. So a benefit of squaring up early is that the blade gets locked better into the water. That was a better actually. So yeah, let's keep it. There's a lot to talk about. Again, fours are challenging, and there's a lot of things going on and a lot of things to talk about. But let's keep it like that for now. and then we can discuss more later. Also, my phone is about to die and I'm hungry, so I'm gonna finish it up for today, okay?